Namaskar and good day to all of you. Actually, the introduction has been given, maybe, yes, on the presentation of school education in context to national education policy. Okay, so I'll take the time which has been given to me because just after this I have another meeting which I have to attend. So I'll try to cover up as much as possible. So the esteemed speakers, Dubeji and Mr. Z, AUCCTA and SRF India organizers of this webinar, all learned participants, ladies and gentlemen. It's indeed a wonderful webinar for which I have been invited and to give a virtual presentation. I wish I could have speak in Hindi. I know to speak very good Hindi, but not in front of you, but it is not that fluent. So I will try to speak in a very sort of, in a language which will be understood by all. So the very outset, I just extend my Abhinandan, I should say, to the Honorable Prime Minister of the country, because it is for his initiative and also the hard work and the initiative of National Education Policy Chairperson, Dr. Kasturirangan, and his team members, who really brought out a very constructive and a meaningful national education policy after a long in this pertinent issue, in this pertinent national education policy, which is indeed very, very extensive. It is so extensive that it will take time. So I have selected the school education, since though I taught in the higher education for more than 2 decades, it is in school education which I am doing right now some works. So friends, without wasting time, let me come to one point before going to the national education policy, that from a country reeling under the colonialism, Bharat is now on the radiant and a vibrant path to progress. And it is on the way to, as the previous speaker said, he mentioned the word, it is on the way to establish self, as herself, as Vishwaguru. So we have, what is the requirement right now is sustainable education. What we require now is the sustainable economic policy, the agriculture, science and technology, because we are using, and our Prime Minister is also using the word Atmanirbhar Bharat. So for that, all of us, each and every one of this country, we have to come forward, extend our cooperation, extend our help to meet the needs of this, or to implement what has been done in this national education policy. And today, I'll just try to highlight some of the important areas which I want to present before you. So when we talk about the National Education Policy 2020, it is in fact the first national education policy of the 21st century. And we are ensuring an inclusive society. Friends, I do feel that it is a far-sighted policy, and all the aspirational goals of this 21st century, including Sustainable Development Goal 4, definitely will be able to reach. When you go through the vision, I don't want to elaborate all in details. There are some areas or some points which are very clearly being defined, clearly being stated in the vision, which we never saw earlier in the other policies. Like, since Bharat is a country where there's a fusion of different languages, culture, and tradition, etc., it is sometimes very sad to think that most of our children, they don't know about their own country. Since I am in touch with the children and students generally, I do feel this, sadness in my mind and my heart when I ask them certain things they don't know. because these things are not being taught either at home, or maybe not either at home, but maybe in the school also they have not come across certain things. So this policy, national education policy, it is very much rooted to Bharatiya ethos. Bharatiya ethos, which will definitely from the very early childhood, that is ECCE, it will definitely inject the ethos, the values, okay, and our culture, our tradition from the very, very first stage of the structure which the national education policy has made. And when I met a scholar once, he long time back, 92, he was from Japan, in Indian Institute of Advanced Education, Shimla. And he used to always speak, I am a Japanese, I'm proud of my country. Yes. So that kind of feeling every child should have in his heart and mind. That is, instill the pride of being Bharatiya, Indian. These are some of the things which has been added in the National Education Policy 2020. And it is really a good sort of way to take along this national education policy. Coming straight to though my previous speaker, he touched about the ECCE, I just want to say that in context to the education structure, the prevailing 10+2, that will be replaced by 5+3+3+4, that is 15 years of schooling. And what is most significant about this structure is the early education, which will be for 5 years, 3 years, that is Anganwadi will go, and 2 years for class 1 and 2, that all of you know about it. Now, in the history of educational policy, my friends, ECCE has been focused for the first time. Yes, I have visited many Anganwadis, I have seen, but for the first time, a focus has been given to ECCE. It is something really, and we also know that when we read Jean Piaget's The Cognitive Theory Development, who developed the cognitive theory, he said that the children from 2 years to 7 years, this period is actually the pre-occupational stage, which begins from 2 years. Very fast. And also, some of the ways which the Bharatiya ethos is already there, our culture, our habits, etc., all this, when we can put into their minds from the very young stage, that will remain in them. And for this also in the national education policy, I have just seen that they are giving, because this stage, this particular foundation stage, it is important from another point of view because of the sensory motor development of children, and they go through a very dramatic, I am using the word, go through a very dramatic growth and learning. So therefore, this is one of the part which is really, really very well focused for the development of education from the very young age. Regarding the other part, and even for the training of teachers, it is very well stated how the teachers, their qualifications, everything, and who will be there, who will be the joint partners of framing the curriculum, the pedagogy part of it. Okay, not only the MHRD, there will be women and child development, family welfare, and even the tribal affairs. So that is very well set. There is nothing to say about that. The second stage, when we come to, that is the preparatory stage, and whatever they will read, that will have a continuation from the foundation. This is actually what is needed. Every stage of this national education policy is not compartmentalized. It is not considered as a separate compartment. There will be a link. So in the preparatory stage, that is for 8 years to 11 years, that is class 3 and 5, which will be play, discovery, activity-based, etc. And that is what is actually needed, how they learn through all these activities. acquisition of reading and writing will be there for this particular stage, the second stage. And again, coming back to Piaget. Piaget called this stage the concrete operational stage. And the children's thinking becomes very organized during this period. So there is nothing to say about this. It is very well said. The third stage, that is which is the middle stage, that is for 6 to 8 or 11 to 14 years of age. And again, there will be a link with the previous stage. Okay. So in this stage, what will happen? The teachers will teach them, giving the clear concepts of science, whether science, mathematics, art, social science, humanities, etc. And besides that, it is very interestingly for us, because today I won't have time maybe to say about the experiential, the explorative studies and the experiential learning will be introduced. This is how the children learn through experiential method, experiential. So this, for the first time, in fact, it has been added in the national education policy. And the last one comes the secondary stage, which was again stated by my previous speaker, and which comprises 9, 10, 11, 12, and it will be multidisciplinary. Flexibility will be there. They can choose the subjects. They can choose the subjects of their interest. And if they want to go for some vocational stream, they are also given the freedom to choose the subject and to join another specialized school. So complete flexibility is given there. And again, coming back to Jean Piaget, the stage is called, that means the middle stage and the secondary stage, because the years are more or less, getting in over here, called the concrete operational stage and also formal operational stage. So all these stages which has been given, it is completely okay. Completely okay and very scientifically framed, very scientifically everything has been added. And what we need now, we have to train our teachers, because this is what the transformation the teachers have to learn. And that part will come different. And the mindset, the positive mindset to transform this situation into the new one, that is what is required, my friends. So therefore, that will obviously come, because all of us, we have full-hearted support to this national education policy. I will not go to some of the languages on all that has been touched, but I will highlight before you some of the salient features of school education as touched in the national education policy. The first one, which is very important, is the holistic development. When we talk about holistic development, all the aspects of a child's development, including his personal, emotional, mental, social, etc., including digital training, everything comes in there. So here, what happens? Holistically developing a child, a later part which you must have gone through, certain focus has been made very clearly, very clearly. And another thing which is very significant is that the interactive classrooms, which we are always talking of, one way or a monologue classroom cannot draw the attention of the students. That is very much psychological. Monologue classroom, when the teacher speaks, goes on speaking from his own side without giving his ears to the children. So therefore, when the classroom is interactive, creative, collaborative, and experimental, then what will happen? It becomes more and more interesting. And the learning outcome will be exceptionally good. The learning outcome will be very good. Now, coming to experiential learning, I want to say one thing, that Mahatma Gandhi, when he was sort of bringing out the basic education system, he gave focus on this. He gave focus on this because I had my very early childhood education in a rural place in Upper Assam. And I still remember how we were taken out when we were quite small to the paddy field to see how the farmers, they sort of do their works in the paddy field, etc., etc. So this is somewhat which they see and they learn and they involve themselves. This is something very significant addition which has been given in the national education policy, or in other words, we can say hands-on practice. Like, say for example, it is sports integrated provision is there. They will go and see and take part, okay? And this indeed will be a boon. I'm using this word boon to the learners for their holistic development. Let me come to another part, the flexibility. So far, we have heard that such and such university outside the country has the flexibility of the curriculum. They can choose, they can have a good choice of the studies. This has again come to us, and like subjects like physical education, arts, crafts, vocational skills, in addition to science, humanities, mathematics, they are all to be incorporated in the curriculum. Now, medium of instruction, again, I'm coming back to Mahatma Gandhi in his basic education. He advocated medium of instruction should be always in the mother tongue, because it gives a very clear concept, and the child also has a very clear understanding, very clear concept of what he is being taught. So till class 5 and onwards, the home language or the mother tongue or the local language or the regional language, as it is called, it has got its prominence. And this is to be followed in both public and private schools. Coming to the language, I'll just very briefly, I will touch on, like when it is talking about the 3-language formula. We heard this earlier also. 2 languages to be native to India. And Sanskrit, the mother of all the languages, Sanskrit to be offered in all levels of school and higher education as an important option. So these are some of the avenues which is being opened very clearly, very nicely in the national education policy. And also when we are talking about the global education or citizenship, etc., the learning of some foreign languages, also they like to know about the culture of the world. Specific, some like languages, Thai, or it is Korean or French, those provision is also have been put out for those who are interested. And what I like best, because I'm dealing with the special children also, the Indian Sign Language for hearing impairment, it is to be standardized across the country. This is highly welcome. It is highly welcome. And this is what will be a boon to the people who are having hearing impairment amongst us. Now, let me very briefly, I'm just also checking the time because 20 minutes has been given to me. The Gender Inclusion Fund, that has been increased, that is from from the smallest class to the class 12, okay? That is in KGBV, that is Kasturba Gandhi Balika Vidyalaya. Up to class 10 Gender Inclusion Fund has been provided. Now, curriculum, coming to curriculum, it is to integrate the Indian culture. I already said this before. Now, coming to exams, exam is one part, which always creates tension, this annual examination, to the parents and also to the children, okay? And parents also nowadays, they have so much of high expectation from the children. What happens? They sort of infill that fear into their minds, which causes anxiety, which causes stress in the children's mind. So there will be examinations in class 3, 5, and 8. And then, as usual, the board exams will be there in class 10 and 12. And after the examination, another very good provision is made about the report card, that is the holistic report card, where they will identify the special talent of the child will be identified, his aptitude will be identified, and that will be also given over there, or remark also given there. Like, it is not that every student will go in one line. Some will go in vocational, some maybe will be a very good artist, some maybe will be a very good singer, some will be a sports person. So like this, there are different talents in our children which are hidden. And those hidden talents will be blossomed out through this educational system, which we very clearly seen over here. And what will happen? it will be all reflected in their report card, which will be very holistic in the nature. Coming to the ICT, the ICT integration in teaching. Now all of us are very much experienced what is happening during this pandemic. The e-learning or the on-learning, since most of the teachers didn't have that experience, it was really very difficult for them to have the teaching readiness, online teaching readiness. So now, as we're advancing and we're in the 21st century, the ICT integration, that should be there not only learning and evaluation, but also in the professional development, in teacher preparation, educational management, admission, and also in the assessment and attendance of the students. That is good. And coming to the teachers now, that is the TET, teacher eligibility test, that will be mandatory. Mandatory to teach from pre-primary to class 12. So they have to, all the teachers have to go. It is well and good because it will be a good preparation. It will be a good preparation. We always say that teaching is not simply just a cup of tea. You have to be a resourceful, you have to be a skillful, and you have to be a very competent teacher. And for that, you have to be ready to go for the necessary training, which they are saying that 50 hours annually, a teacher must go for in-service training. And also they are giving sort of keeping away all the extra works which the teachers used to do till now, I should say, whether it is the survey work, election work, which they do, those will be now out. And teachers' duty will be purely in the classroom and outside the classroom. This is something really welcome. And another one is, now we find what the children do. You all must have seen the majority of children, they depend on rote learning without having any concept. I have seen, so I can very confidently say that most of the children, even in higher education, we find they prepare the answer, they memorize it, and they vomit it out in the examination hall because the questions are more or less, it comes in the same pattern. So therefore, this national education policy is giving stress on how to learn, and experiential learning is one of the way. Constructive classrooms, that is how to think, how to do the activities, how they will understand through the interactions. All these will lead to how to learn. This is something very important for the children in the learning process. And you must, I think this I should mention because this is what is really sort of, I like it very much. That is bagless 10 days. Backless, without bag. The children will spend 10 days with whom? They will go to the skilled persons. They will go to the skilled people like carpenters, some pottery or a gardener. They can go to some other artist who paints well, okay, etc. So during this period, that is from 6 to 8, okay, age. They will do what? They will go and interact with them, hands-on practice, see them, and do the works. So what I see on the whole, when I just sort of, I went through this national education policy number of times. Yes, somebody may say that we have to, this should have been added or that should have been added. But what I think, let us start. So this is so constructive that it will definitely bring a transformation after a long, long period to our country. We have to transform Bharat with all the ideas through the education this national education policy has given. I do believe it will be possible. What it needs is nothing. Yes, it needs your willpower, it needs your positive mindset, and it needs your active participation. It will be a very good way of transforming, because education is a vehicle of transformations. I think my 20 minutes has been completed. I'm very much concerned about time. So I want to end up by saying just a small prayer, which all of you know. Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhino. May all be happy. Sarve Shantu Niramaya. May all be free from illness. Sarve Bhadrani Pashantu. May all see what is auspicious. Ma Kachit Dukha Bhabit. may no one suffer. With this prayer, I'm winding up my presentation.